Let's talk about forestry. Forestry is defined by Wikipedia as the science of crafting, of creating, managing, planting, using, conserving, and repairing forests and woodlands for associated resources. However, the forestry industry is defined by Natural Resources Canada as firm responsible for field operations and harvesting of timber, including felling and hauling it to the mill. You may be thinking, the forestry industry is so boring. I sit on my phone in class and not listen to this presentation at all. And to that, I say you're right. It is incredibly boring, the research is boring, the topic is boring, and you really have no reason to listen to this. However, it does affect your life and the economy of Canada, which you are currently living in. So please listen.
Jingle, jingle, jingle. Pay attention, pay attention.
Okay, now that I've got your attention, let's talk about where and how. Here are two main types of forestry in Canada. Rainforests that are harvested for high-value trees with a large diameter on the Pacific coast, and British Columbia and southern parts of eastern Canada, cheaper wood of lower value.
Jingle, jingle, jingle. Back in the day. Jingle, jingle, pay attention, pay attention.
A large 38% of Canada is covered in forests, with forests growing faster due to the milder, more humid climates that are incredibly temperate with tons of rain. Boreal forests cover interior Canada, and with harsher climates the trees are smaller in diameter and therefore cheaper.
Jingle, jingle, pay attention, pay attention.
Wood can be made into many different things. The structure of your house is wood. The table you are using right now is wood. And the paper you write on, you guessed it, is wood. Your pencil is made of wood. Your clothes potentially could be made of wood, depending on the fabric choice. And your shredded cheese could be made of wood. Of course, the wood cannot just magically turn into things you use, so how is it processed? First of all, you need wood. Trees are harvested in different ways, like clear cut, patch cut, or selective cut, but we are going to get to those things later. No matter which way, trees are harvested and sent to mills for processing. They are then graded by different levels depending on the quality of wood. It might then be treated for different purposes depending on the factory. For example, can you guess what people use wood for in paper mills? If you guessed paper, then you're correct. There are also factories that process them into furniture or lumber for other uses. The wood goes through the tin of processing. It can finally be distributed to warehouses or stores where we can purchase them. Take a guess at how much of Canada's economy is from the forestry industry. If you guessed it contributed $30 billion to Canada's nominal GDP in 2023, then kudos to you, I guess. What is nominal GDP, you might ask? It means the total monetary value of all finished goods and services produced within a country in a year. If this sounds like a ton of jargon you don't know, let me explain it a bit differently. Nominal GDP is just the total lobby leader stat of every finished item cooked up inside a country's border over 1 year, basically adding up the final price tag of every W to see how much raw bank the whole nation generated. If you didn't understand that, then you're cooked. Back on topic, data from 2023 states that forestry contributes a massive chunk to Canada's economy, giving 200,000 people jobs and employment opportunity. While the industry did decline from 2021 to 2022, this was likely due to the return to normal levels of demand following the COVID-19 pandemic. I will now pass it on to my partner Sophie.
Cutting trees is infamously incredibly bad for the environment. It damages the natural habitat for animals, it disrupts the water cycle, and it worsens the air quality. Imagine you're a squirrel living carefree in the woods, until one day you find yourself standing in the middle of a bunch of tree trunks with a giant machine tearing down your home. This is an example of clear cut, a common technique used for cutting trees. It's very self-explanatory. You basically cut all the trees in one area, no matter the age or quality. It significantly disrupts the natural environment. Of course, there are other ways to harvest trees. There are patch cuts, strip cuts, or selective cuts. Patch cuts and strip cuts are slightly better than clear cuts, but it still leaves bare land. And even though selective cuts does do less damage to the environment, it is very expensive and time-consuming. But no matter what, it still more or less damages the environment. Each year, 550,000 hectares of trees are cut in Canada, which is around 6 hockey rink-sized areas being cut every 1 minute. Our forests are some of the most carbon-rich ecosystems, and we are home to vast, large stretches of primary, never-before logged and chopped forests. When they are chopped down, they release their carbon to the atmosphere. This carbon contributes to the production of greenhouse gases and global warming. Planning a forest management plan to be essential for companies to even start logging, and there are ways to log more sustainably. We can plant trees, and when combined with the natural regeneration from the trees themselves, enable ecosystems to adapt to future climate conditions and potential environmental changes that may happen. Industries should also be careful about the chemicals used at the harvest sites. Maintaining green footage and avoiding pesticides or chemicals used in forests can also significantly reduce the harm from logging.
It is apparent that the forest industry provides a lot to our lives. While the future of this industry is yet to be seen, Canada continues to strive for sustainability and reducing our impact on the environment. That's all we've got for you today, folks. If you enjoyed or learned anything new, feel free to not subscribe, and please do not follow me on any of my social media. There are not any new videos coming out. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.